screen. But now in the big leagues, again, it's very important that the umpire will, point the catcher called it or the hitter called it because they got to keep track of him. You're only allowed one per, at bat. So don't always get that point at the high school level.
The 0-2 stays alive by fouling it away. Of course, the Mount Vernon bench ready to explode and cheer if Weaver can get this down for a base hit.
Oh, there's 2 outs, so you're going to be moving basically on anything hit, into the outfield. You're going to try to score. So even if it's just a little blooper, you're moving on contact, and if it gets to the outfield, you're not stopping at third base.
4 hits for Mount Vernon, 1 for Greenfield Central, but we're tied at 1. And that is ball 1.
Now, that previous pitch, Weaver did a better job of staying in on the curveball and was able to at least foul it off. That pitch would have been called a strike.
Sims lets it fly. Swing and a miss. First base is open, though, so he's got to throw down there, does Mayberry, and he gets him. So Weaver has struck out twice now, and Mount Vernon had their opportunities. They had no runs, 1 hit, no errors, but they strand 2 men aboard. They've left 4 men on base now in this game as we head to the bottom of the third, tied at 1. And, boy, how many plays have we had down at first base, Jim, on strikeouts? That's been happening quite a bit so far.
Yeah, and Weaver last time struck out, but then it took a 2 to 3 throw to actually get him out here as you see the sectional.
Yeah, this is the sectional between Mount Vernon and Greenfield Central. These 2 teams will play each other first. Then in the bottom portion of the bracket, Pendleton Heights against Richmond, New Pal against Muncie Central, and Anderson has the bye. So Mount Vernon is the host school, and Anderson will play the winner of Mount Vernon and Greenfield Central once that game is decided. Rest of the season for Greenfield, they close out their season May 24th. Actually, May 22nd is their last regular season game, and then they play Mount Vernon in sectional play on May 24th. Their last game is against Triton Central. And for Mount Vernon, looking at their schedule, their last game before they play Greenfield Central is against Bedford North Lawrence. That is on May 20th. They're playing in what's called the Orville Huffman Invitational. And on the 20th, they play Silver Creek at 1 o'clock and then Bedford North Lawrence later in the day at 5. So batters 2, 3, and 4 for Greenfield Central. Coming up here in the bottom of the third inning, Landon Brooks, Andrew Zellers, and Connor Sims. And Brooks goes after Sullivan, sends that in the air to right, stays in the park but goes off the wall. Wilson up with it quickly, back into second, close play, but he's able to slide in for the double. Wow. There were a lot of twists and turns just on that one play, but Brooks was able to get in safely after a heck of a throw back in by Wilson.
John, I couldn't agree more. This is just really good baseball all the way around. Good pitch, good job of staying with it. Ball's hit off the wall there. The right fielder Wilson does a good job of staying with it and gets it back in quickly. A nice throw to second base and just about gets Brooks. I think Brooks was maybe even a little bit surprised. He probably thought, I got this somewhat easily, and then looked up and said, holy cow, I better get down and I better get around the tag.
Brooks is now third on the team in hits. He just got his 18th hit of the season. Here's Andrew Zellers. Zellers chops it to second, scooped up by Ford, on to first. There's one down, 4-3 on that putout, but it moves Brooks over to third base. The potential go-ahead run there, and Connor Sims, who reached on an error, comes up.
Now you're going to see here Brooks going around second base, and right there he's like, you know what? I probably ought to pick this up and then watch the kind of fade away slide where he's going to be away from the bag just a little bit. Again, looking back, if I have the opportunity to show him that, I'm going to tell him to get even further away and just give him a hand. If you're going to tag something, you're just going to tag my hand. I'm not giving you anything else to tag.
Gavin Johnston did all he could to try to apply the tag, but missed, and Connor Sims takes strike one. So it's pitcher versus pitcher in this battle between Cam Sullivan and Connor Sims. Missed the corner, and Sullivan didn't agree with the call. Neither did a lot of the Mount Vernon fans in attendance.
one out here, so you're going to tag up on any ball hit in the air. Certainly anything hit to the outfield, you're going to try to tag up and score.
The 1-1. Checked his swing and stayed away. 2-1.
Again, just ball was low, and the catcher's just moving his glove too much. And most umpires aren't going to give you that strike if you're moving the glove like that.
4 strikeouts by Cam Sullivan, all against different batters. Nearly hit him.
Of course, if you're Brooks down there at third base, you're looking for any ball that gets away from the catcher. Does it get away far enough? Can I get, in?
And there's ball 4. The first walk of the day issued by Cam Sullivan. And that is also just his 10th walk that he has allowed on the season. Came in tonight with a .91 ERA. And A.J. Oden comes up. Now, Oden has the 1 RBI for Greenfield Central, which he got on a fielder's choice. Because of his speed and getting to first, he was able to avoid a 4-6-3 double play. Instead, it was just 4-6.
Speaking of courtesy runners, Coach Vail deciding to leave Sims in.
And that one is high and nearly hits Oden. And Sullivan has had some control issues tonight. He's hit 2 batters already, and he's come close several other times. Like right there, wow.
Yeah, and it seems like every time, and he's doing it. He's stepping off the mound there. He's taking a deep breath. He's resetting himself. He's rebooting himself there. And it seems like after he throws 2 or 3 just really bad pitches, he's able to settle back down. We'll see if he's able to do it again.
High and in, 2-0.
John, we were talking before the game started. These 2 teams meet again tomorrow up in Fortville as this conference does a home and away series. They used to play double headers on Friday nights, and the host teams' moms would get together and make food and feed both teams. But honestly, those games went to midnight. It was really, it sounded like a good idea. But in application, I think it ended up not working as well as they wanted it to. I wondered, as you see, I know New Palacine's going to get turf on their baseball field next year, and you'll see other teams do the same, whether or not they go to a single game regular season and a conference tourney at the end.
Runner goes, 2-1, hit him. 3rd time Sullivan has hit a batter. Oden, I think, was just trying to cover himself and get down to first base anyway. So now you've got Sims on second, Oden on first, and Brooks on third, bases loaded. And I don't know, I think what's going on here is that the head coach for Mount Vernon,
going to say it hit the bat.
It says it hits the bat. Brad King coming out to have a conversation here. And I think that's exactly why you saw Oden go to first.
Well, I don't know that you take the coach's word for it, but, it wouldn't bother me to see him go out and ask the field umpire what he's got. We're going to see the replay here. I'll be honest, I couldn't see it hit him at all.
I almost thought it hit the umpire. Now
go back and great job here.
Are they bringing him back? They're bringing him back to the plate.
I don't know. I don't see it hit him, frankly, John.
Now Coach Mark Vail of Greenfield Central's not happy.
Well, and again, if he can show him a little scuff mark or something that's been done before. Years ago there was a play in the World Series, and I mean years ago, where a batter felt like the ball hit him and the umpire didn't think so. Well, then they went and got the baseball, and there was black shoe polish on the baseball. And so the umpire went, well, okay, there's black shoe polish. So now, I don't know. I guess we're going to bring him back. I don't care what they do. I got to be at work in the morning, so let's do something. I just make a decision, man. Okay, now they're going to send him down. Now, that's the 4th free pass, like you mentioned earlier, 1 via the walk, but 3 hit by pitches. And when you give guys free passes, they have a tendency to come around and score.
Yeah.
It's like the Murphy's Law of baseball. You can walk a guy, and somehow he finds his way all the way around. A guy can lead off with a double and oftentimes not get in. But, man, walks just kill you. And, again, it's not a walk necessarily. It's a hit by pitch. But either way, it's a free pass.
I've just never seen a hit by pitch discussed that much at the high school level because, like you said, they don't have the benefit of seeing the replays. That one is missed by Brody Mayberry. He struck out to end the first, but he's got a massive opportunity here with the bases juiced and one out in the bottom of the third.
Well, Brody took a
right back up the middle, off the glove of Sullivan. Ford gets it, steps on second, but a run scores. So he does get the runner. Heck of a job by the Mount Vernon defense, first by Sullivan to get his glove on it, keep it in the infield. And so Mayberry is aboard with a fielder's choice, but he gets credit for an RBI. That scores Brooks, and Greenfield Central takes a 2-1 lead. And now there is a courtesy runner coming in for Greenfield Central. Elliott Thresh is coming on to run for Mayberry.
So with 2 outs in again, and that's pretty common too. A lot of coaches will go ahead and let the pitcher or catcher, who generally tend to be some of their better athletes, go ahead and run. And then when there's 2 outs, we'll go ahead and bring somebody else in.
Actually, Fresh is running at third base for Sims. So he goes over to third to run for Sims, and it looks like we do have a different runner at first base running instead of Brody Mayberry. That is Parker Rhodes, or 14 rather, Alex Thresh. So we have two Threshes out there. Alex and Elliott Thresh on the field now. First and third, sent into center by Parker Rhodes, and that is caught on the run by Nathan Chris. My goodness, what a crazy end to the bottom of the third inning. But after all of it, Greenfield Central takes a 2-1 lead after 3. Fourth inning comes your way next on 9 Star TV.
3, 2, 1.
Has the first dunk in the building from Aranzoya. Waits, Waddell finishes. And lays it in. There is right now the play of the game. Better finish. Good. We might see that on Plays of the Week. Great feed. The finish. Spin. Win. 3. Bury it in the lane. No. Gun. Yes. Stop. Whoa. What a play. Flying in.
Beautiful sunny evening on a Tuesday for high school baseball in Hancock County. Greenfield Central taking a 2-1 lead on Mount Vernon here on 9 Star TV. Great to have you with us, however may you be watching us, whether you may be getting us on 9 Star on the YouTube channel or on the ISC Sports Network. Wherever you may be, we appreciate you watching. Along with Jim Leisure, I am John Herrick in this big Hancock County rivalry matchup between Mount Vernon and Greenfield Central. Mount Vernon came in tonight undefeated in conference play, 10-0, a record of 15-2. They've won 9 games in a row. Greenfield Central has won 4 games in a row, the latest of which was a win over Westfield last night. These teams are playing twice against each other this week, once tonight and once tomorrow. Mount Vernon has the bottom part of their order coming up, 6, 7, and 8. Joseph Wilson, Nathan Chris, and Cam Sullivan. And Wilson struck out in the second. Very bizarre first inning we've had, and a bizarre third inning as well.
You know, John, neither one of these pitchers is really approaching the maximum limit of pitch count, but both of them are kind of getting to the point where eventually you're probably going to see some activity in the bullpen.
But the curveball for Connor Sims has really been on point tonight. He has 5 strikeouts. 2 of them have come against Russell Weaver, who he got to end the third. He's also struck out Wilson, and he's close to striking out Wilson again, as Wilson's now behind 0-2. And Wilson came into tonight batting .500. So if you can get him out twice via strikeout, you got to feel fantastic about that. And now Brad King, the Mount Vernon coach, says something to the first base umpire.
I don't know what world they'd be talking about.
I don't know either, but
I mean, he swung so hard he almost fell down. I don't know what you would think that was a check swing or something.
Also could be a situation where he's upset about a call that happened earlier in the game, and maybe he's still venting. You never know.
Well, I was going to say he needs to quit venting because, frankly, that was whatever. I mean, if I'm an umpire, I'm like, look, that's over, son. We're not talking about that. Where does that end? We could go all the way back to Adam and Eve. You want to talk about that?
3 quick pitches and a strikeout for Wilson. Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Nathan Chris comes up. So Chris is one of the Mount Vernon hitters who's gotten a hit tonight. He singled, then stole a base in the second, but was stranded on third.
Nice job there. Again, that breaking ball just has been devastating so far. We'll see if good hitters will eventually adjust, but you know what? Good pitchers can continue to throw it if they, throw it smartly.
Too far inside from Sims.
You got to mix it up a little bit. You want to mix up location. You certainly want to mix up the timing of it, what count. Catcher has to know the hitter and say, you know what, we got him last time on this pitch. So he might be expecting that pitch.
Greenfield Central scoring 8 runs a game offensively, giving up 4. Mount Vernon scoring 9 runs a game offensively and allowing 3. So far, it's been a pretty good pitcher's battle here tonight with a little bit of hitting in between. Mount Vernon fans can't believe that call.
Again, it was close enough. I mean, the pitch is right into the catcher's glove. He didn't really, he moved it a little bit, but not the wild movement that we've seen on some of the others.
The 1-2 got him swinging. So Connor Sims is in quite a groove now. Back-to-back strikeouts for him to start off the 4th. And Cam Sullivan now tries to keep the inning alive. He grounded out in the second, making him 0 for 1 on the evening. Came in hitting .391. 9 hits on the year, does have a triple and a home run, and there's that breaking ball again. So far, it just seems like, Jim, Mount Vernon's had a hard time figuring out that pitch.
Well, in that time, Sullivan kind of looked at the coach like he didn't like the call or whatever, but it's like, well, I mean, it was close enough, and how can you be surprised that he came with the pitch? He's thrown about 60 of them.
That one goes way outside, but nobody's on base, so no harm, no foul there.
And, not just thrown 60 of them, but has thrown them well. He's hitting these locations. He's mixing it up.
1-1 offering. That bounced its way to home plate and hits Sullivan.
It's still a live ball, so just because it bounced, it's still a pitched ball that hits a batter. So,
well, Sullivan has hit his fair share of batters in this game. He's hit 3 of them, and now he gets hit by a pitch, and a courtesy runner comes on for Mount Vernon. That is Josh James. So James comes on to run in spot of Sullivan. And for Sims, that is the first time all season that Sims has hit a batter. So coming into tonight, I mean, Sims and Sullivan just did not hit opposing batters normally. And Sims has now hit 1, and Sullivan has hit 3.
I was going to say they've been hitting them tonight.
And Grant Payson, the 9th man in the order for Mount Vernon, is up, and he struck out in the second.
James does have 6 stolen bases on the season. Normal baseball logic is you probably don't want to steal, with your 9-hole batting, because if he gets thrown out, then you got to lead off the next inning with the 9-hole. But I don't know these kids. I don't know what they can do. I'm not at their practice, so he may go.
That one goes off the glove of Mayberry to the wall. Don't even have to worry about that if you're James. That's an easy trip down to second base.
Yeah, and again, that's probably another reason why you don't send him, is because, if you get a pass ball or a wild pitch, then you don't have to worry about that ball just totally sails off. You don't have to worry about leading off the next inning with the 9-hole.
You would rule that a wild pitch, wouldn't you?
Yes.
That one I was going to say.
Taking a Herculean effort, I think, on Mayberry's part.
I will say about both these pitchers, Sims and Sullivan, they both have great bounce-back ability.
They do.
On one pitch, they might be a little bit erratic, but on the next pitch, they find a way to get a strike back, get back into a groove.
Yeah, good, excellent point, John, because, again,
as James goes, it's fouled away. He'll have to go back to second.
It said, like, the one pitch will be way off. I mean, just honestly, just horrible, and then come right back and throw a strike on the corner, and that's a nice ability to have if you're a young pitcher.
Tying run on second. Go-ahead run potentially at the plate for Mount Vernon. Can they take advantage? They have more hits in this game than Greenfield Central, but they trail where it matters most on the scoreboard. Strike three looking, and Payson cannot believe it. And we go to the bottom of the fourth with Greenfield Central on top, 2-1. No runs, no hits, no errors, but a runner left on for the Mount Vernon Marauders. And we'll take this time to remind you that you've only got one chance at the recruiting process, so do not waste it. National Scouting Report and Mark Gallion dedicated themselves to finding you scholarship money, and Mark specifically specializes in baseball. Have an advocate in your corner and call Mark today at 317-339-6721 or email him at mgallion@nsr-inc.com. That's MGALYEN@nsr-inc.com. Mark Gallion, National Scouting Report. I wonder if he's got his eye on some of the kids here, Jim.
You never know. You never know. Again, there's so many opportunities here. We're going to see the replay here on this called third strike. I thought it was close enough. Again, catcher did not have a tremendous amount of movement, didn't move the glove hardly at all. You can't look at that pitch. You got to swing at it. You got to try to foul it off, slap it down the right field line. Again, you mentioned earlier, John, we had about 10 balls that were fouled that way. That's what you got to do with that one. You just got to slap at it, throw the bat at it. We're going to get a great shot here to see if it was high enough knee level-wise. Oh, definitely. I mean, that thing almost was belt high. Nah, that's a strike, son. You got to swing at that.
Again, you hear coaches all the time talk about it. If it's two strikes or close enough, don't leave it to chance. Protect the plate. It is the 8-9-1 portion of the Greenfield Central order coming up here in the bottom of the fourth as they try to add to their one-run lead. Kurt Connect checks in. He struck out in the second, but he is hitting .439 on the year, and he is more than capable. And Cam Sullivan misses away for ball one. Sullivan has not lost this season. He's got a 4-0 record, but Greenfield Central's given him all he can handle here tonight. Connect has 18 hits, 14 driven in. He does have one of Greenfield Central's 10 home runs.
You know, John, you're exactly right. He's batting .439 with 54 plate appearances. So, wow. What a luxury, I guess, to have an 8-hole that's batting almost .500.
Cut on and missed. He's behind now 1-2. Wind picks up again. Outside when Sullivan's missed.
And both of them have been